Thank you very much, Jyoti. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, a pleasure for me to be present here today on this 11th edition of the TFMC annual event itself. So congratulations, Satya and the entire TFMC team for your 11th anniversary, and keep on rocking, keep on doing the good work. Can we have some more mics, please? Okay, great. Okay, so if everyone has settled down, let's start. City of Biryani, city of the old traditions, city of the Charminar, now city of GCCs. And we will be talking about over the next half an hour or so about how this transition has happened, what is it today, and how is it going to be in the future. I have got very eminent panelists with me. I have Mr. Amol, Mr. Shrikant Srinivasan, an old friend and an ex-colleague, Mr. Sriram of Center of Cybersecurity, Mr. Vinay Agrawal from Tech Mahindra, and Mr. Amjad Patan from Bosch. So different things. And if we look at GCCs over here in Telangana, it started way back in 1990 when the India Development Center of Microsoft was actually set up over here. 30, 40 years down the line today, we are talking about close to 300 GCCs being set up over here in Telangana. Lakhs of people working over here. And in fact, we wouldn't even have the latest count, because last week itself, I was involved in the inauguration of a GCC, which was in the packaging space. So not only have we moved away from IT into allied areas and other areas, but also the number of GCCs is growing. We are about close to 15 to 20% of India GCCs that are there in India today. 15 to 20% of them are here in Hyderabad itself. So with this eminent panel, I will start. First, I'll request them to introduce themselves, and we could go in a clockwise manner. And then I will put forward some questions. So my question to all the panelists to start is, please introduce yourself and your roles. Right? So Amol, let me start with you then. Mr. Amol Gupta, Country Head of TTEC.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure being here. My name is Amol Gupta. I lead a company called TTEC Digital, their India operations, and we've got close to 1,000 people working out of Hyderabad. So glad to be here. Thank you, Mr. Satya and TFMC team for organizing this, and would love to share some insights on our discussion later.
Thank you, and thank you, Amol. Thank you, Srikant. And very, very happy to be here today, and good to see this event grow from strength to strength, 11th edition here. My name is Srikant Srinivasan. I represent NASSCOM. I manage the Pan-India membership engagement at NASSCOM. Look forward to talk to all of you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Very happy to be here at TSMC. I'm Sriram, Dr. Sriram Birudavolu. I head the Cyber Security Center of Excellence of NASSCOM DSCI, and very happy to be here. We'll share thoughts and learn from everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, this is Vinay Agrawal. I head the HR for Tech Mahindra, and also I'm part of the Executive Council of HYBIZTV. Very happy to be here, and this panel is privileged to be part of such an esteemed panel.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Amjad. I'm Vice President and Center Head for Bosch Global Software Technologies. So after being 20 years outside Hyderabad, back to Hyderabad. So born and brought up here. So glad to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you. So as you can see, people from diverse background, diverse industries. So let's start our discussions, and you always need an opener. And who was the best opener for the Indian cricket team? Any guesses? My namesake. So, Mr. Srikant Srinivasan, considering you to be the opener, I would like you to, throw some light on, what has the journey been from India Development Center to GCCs, and is there some kind of a criteria for the GCCs today to be called GCCs? Also, moving away from, different kind of, the capability centers, right? So from a NASSCOM's perspective, being, the prime IT trade body, how do you look at them?
Sure. Thank you, Srikant. So just to step back to what you started right a while back, and I think the GCC story of Hyderabad has been, it's probably a little over 40 years now. I don't know, many would not know that there used to be a GCC called Intergraph way back in the early 90s. And that was probably the first GCC in this city, probably after Texas Instruments in Bangalore. And then today, people don't remember because Intergraph is kind of, changed names, and today it's called Hexagon, right? I mean, it's undergone a lot of change. So it's started from those days. And just to a point, I think, on the way it has, the whole journey of GCCs has changed. I think it's pertinent to see, you're right, and I think it all started those years way back as a cost arbitrage, talent arbitrage kind of a model. And I think sooner or later, organizations, global enterprises also realize that it's way beyond cost arbitrage. People realize that it's much more than that. It's about efficiency, it's about productivity, it's about doing work in a very efficient manner. And that's how things changed. And then people moved to the next level of maturity, where they started specializing in certain areas of work. And that, again, that was the, I'm talking of, even if I look at the map of, say, 2010 onwards, the last 15 odd years, in about 2010, I think the number of GCCs in the country would have been just about 800, so around 700 those days. But then by when we looked at around 2015 time span, it kind of moved to about 1,000, where, organizations started moving up the value chain, and you saw that it was almost a 50% growth. But between 2015 and today, 2023, 24, we are at about 17, and the last count is about 1760 GCCs, which means that the organizations have further moved. And today it is not about cost may be an advantage, and I'm not denying that. But I think it is all about the value. It's about the kind of quality of work that people are doing. Today, if you look at GCCs, in the next phase, you look at them as clear transformational hubs for the global enterprise, where they can add value to the parent, the global enterprise in terms of both bottom line and top line.
Fantastic. I think you have put it in the right perspective. So now what I would like to do is also move to Mr. Vinay Agrawal, another very good friend of mine, to understand from a normal India Development Center to the innovation hubs that today GCs have become, right? Where do you see the major shift that has happened, and what has prompted that growth?
So I think, so thanks for asking a very simple question. Because the reality which everybody accepts is that India continues to be the epicenter of talent. So we have pockets, so Eastern Europe, and I think some countries in Asia also, Vietnam, Colombia, and Latin America, there are talent availability, but the scale is very small. So we also have quite a company in Latvia. So scale is something no country is able to match the scale and the quality combination of the talent. And I think the good news is that India will continue to be at the epicenter. The only thing is that, so we have, last few years, there have been very intense debate that how do we improve employability of the students who are coming out. And Shrikant himself is leading a task force or task. So a lot of action has happened to address that. There's a there's a democratization of education. Students have become very smart that if they know that if certain important topics are not covered in the curriculum, they know how to acquire that knowledge, etc. So we are on the right track, and if we continue to do that and don't be complacent, in the next decade or so, with the AI wave coming, we will continue to be able to supply talent in whatever quantity the whole world requires.
Vinayji, thanks for giving that leading thing, because how many of you know about TASK? Can I see a show of hands? Okay, either the remaining people are sleeping or they really don't know tasks. So I'll take 30 seconds to introduce task. So we are a government organization. We were set up way back in 2004 itself when IT boom was happening as IEG, Institution of Electronic Governance itself, right? Then it changed to Jawan Knowledge Centers. And then when the state was getting bifurcated, there was a survey done of 1,400 organizations only to realize that less than 10% locals were working. And out of the people who are also working with the industry, not all were meeting up to the expectations of the industry. And that's where Telangana Academy for Skill and Knowledge was created under the IT department with a clear mandate. There were 3 mandates given to us: skilling for employability. Second was providing the right, ready, trained manpower as, when, where companies want them. And third is creating an entrepreneurial mindset. So these were the 3 things that we started with. Today, I'm happy to mention over here that we work with 764 colleges across Telangana. So far, we have skilled 1.4 million students. And we don't only skill students, we also skill faculty members, both on pedagogy as well as technology. And that's typically how the journey is. Our thing is also ensuring that, if we ask ourselves, right from childhood, as parents, we tell our children, eat this is good for you, right? They come to school, the teacher says, learn this by heart. Tomorrow there's an oral recitation test for this. Moving further to college, as educators, we say, this question has come last year. It is not important, concentrate on this question, this will come this year. When he ends up in a company of all the people sitting over here or of some of you down there, the first thing you ask him is work in a team. He has never worked in a team in his whole life. He was always doing things himself. And the second thing, which is even much more important, is think for yourself, right? We have not taught him how to think. So both these things we are trying to, negate through a behavior, domain, technology kind of a model. We start skilling a student right from first year onwards. We work with 80 plus partners offering 110 plus programs. While skilling could be one of the things that, makes it important for, us over here. And we have already spoken about the IT part of GCCs. But of late, if you see, especially in Telangana, a whole lot of diversification of sectors has happened. And I'm happy to have my friend Amjad on this panel. So Amjad, why don't you throw some light on this diversification apart from IT, and especially what value GCCs over here in India are able to bring in the manufacture and IT-aided manufacturing kind of scenario, of course, with AI these days.
Srikanth, thank you for the question. So, Bosch predominantly has 100 plus plants. So, though I come from software and systems background, so when we are looking at any new location, GCC is coming. So, beyond IT, so domain knowledge, right? This becomes the foremost, right? So, we also look how you're talking about AI. I talk about another AI, which is academia and industry collaboration, because that's the foremost also to do any co-creation, co-innovation. So these are certain critical factors apart from cost effectiveness, scalability, and today we are here with sustainability, right? So the digitalization, I mean, if we don't adopt digitalization, there is no competitiveness. I think you can take any sector. So digitalization, scalability. So now the last point for manufacturing, you need to have this end-to-end value stream So right from the R&D part, then you need the quality, the procurement, the qualified suppliers, right? So this is all end to end. So any city or any country which provides this along with the technology and the speed, then I think that's the right place to be in.
Fantastic. And if you look at the Telangana ecosystem itself, we have aerospace, we have defense, we have logistics, you name it, we have all those kinds of GCCs that are already set up and more are getting set up. And that's happening. While, though it's not planned that way, but thanks to all my speakers, they are giving me a leeway to talk about task also. So talking about academic industry collaboration, we are working with more than 700 companies who advertise their entry-level jobs on our portal itself. So I would urge all the TFMC members, in case you are looking at skilled manpower, please do feel free to reach out to me. We will help you get the right, ready resource as and when you want them. So while we have spoken about skilling quite a lot, I think it's important for me to also understand as to what is the larger Telangana ecosystem that is promoting, the growth of GCCs over here compared to others. So, Amol, my question to you is, what ecosystem leverage do we see here with GCCs in Telangana and Hyderabad?
That's a very interesting question, Srikant. See, I'll step back and say, okay, I mean, we started our journey here in Hyderabad 4 years back, right? And at that time, Hyderabad was just picking up as the location of choice for all the new entrants in the GCC space. And independent consultants came over and advised us that, hey, this is the place where you should. The key factors then, and they are becoming stronger day by day as we speak right now. What do you need to establish a great business setup? Fundamentally, number one, talent. Number two, infrastructure. Number three, what are the local policy frameworks that are helping you run that? And last but not the least, what is the culture that is thriving in that geography, which is exciting for people to, in some cases, move across and then set up their home bases here. So I think in case of Hyderabad in particular, and even Telangana in a broader sense, I think all these four key parameters have a very high tick box in any evaluation. You've got a wonderful talent supply that is here in every stream, and you're talking about AI right now. So even AI-enabled talent is available in plenty. And thanks to some of the work that Task does, again, we are having a good pipeline of people coming in. Infrastructure is great. Again, most of us follow news and we see what's happening everywhere in terms of a city. Not necessarily perfect, but the reaction times in terms of addressing some of the issues are faster. People are able to commute and come to the offices in lesser time. And then the broader ecosystem that allows people to choose that, I think, is great. Last but not the least, right? So there are a lot of complementary businesses that are operating here. And by that I mean that, if there is a certain talent supply that you require and that needs to be complemented with additional services to support that business, I think that is available in plenty. And one other area that I want to touch upon, which is also relevant from a facility management perspective, look around the Western Hyderabad in particular. I think the office parks and the infrastructure that we have is world class. The connectivity that we have to Hyderabad, not just locally within India, you can catch a flight to practically every city here in India, but the connectivity globally, a neutral weather environment, all this kind of add up in making it a very logically and intuitive choice to set up business here. So I think all those come together very beautifully, and that's how we've been successful in scaling up things here.
Thank you. I think that's a great compliment to the facilities managers over here, and of course the great work that TFMC is also doing. Round of applause for TFMC and all the members of TFMC. I think also what is more important is, and this is from an outsider's perspective. I've just been here 6 years, but what I've seen is that every subsequent government grows on whatever the previous government has done. ORR, now there is RRR, right? So many positive things are happening, and fortunately for us, our Honorable Chief Minister, our Honorable IT Minister are continuing with that legacy, and they are wanting themselves. In fact, they want GCCs to come over here. Right now, our Honorable IT Secretary could not be, Special Chief Secretary, IT and Industries could not be here because he's in US and meeting with investors so that more investments and more jobs can be brought down to Hyderabad and Telangana. And that's how things are. But most important thing that we talk about today, apart from investments, etc., is the virtual arrests and securities. So, Dr. Sriram, on that note, let me move to you and talk about in terms of how is the space of cybersecurity here for GCCs, point number one. And point number two, what Hyderabad and Telangana is doing as a state or a city to help build confidence in the people on cyber threats and cyber security.
Sure. Thank you very much for that question, Shrikant. So, as Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, we have mapped the landscape of Telangana. There are about 350 organizations which have cybersecurity teams, and we are ourselves incubating about 70 cybersecurity startups. With startups focused on product startups in cybersecurity and privacy. So privacy is another growing area because about 137 countries have adopted privacy laws, and of all the civil and criminal procedure codes, the highest ever fines are levied for breach of personal data, about 250 crores and all, and jumping to 500 crores if they find multiple breaches in one thing. So given that, this is suddenly assumed enormous importance, and people are building products for that, because the biggest question is, companies can come and say, look, I have many touch points in which a lot of personal data can be leaked. Now I want to implement privacy, but how do I implement it? So there is privacy engineering. So cybersecurity and privacy. Now coming to the GCC's part here, so there is a vast gap between when supply and demand, in the sense that there is a talent shortage worldwide. So what, as an industry body, what is a problem we see as an opportunity? So sitting here, we can really solve the problems of the globe, cybersecurity, if we have played our cards right, if we have built the talent pool right, and if we have, nurtured the talent and their growth and leveraged it well. So what do the GCCs, when we did this survey, Secure in India report on GCCs, we found that a lot of high-end work is being done here, not merely the low-end work, okay? So the high-end work includes work like, almost like filing patents, participating in the design, board-level decisions which are being taken, participating in those, risk management. Many of them are being done here. And more work will be outsourced here. And they will participate in the global cybersecurity architecture frameworks, as well as setting the agenda for what it should be. Because cyber threats are universal. Once you're connected, you're online. So it makes sense to get diverse and multiple perspectives. And the perspectives from India will be very unique as compared to the perspectives from the other countries also. So there are two parts to this. One is GCCs which have a market in India, and GCCs which don't have a market in India. Like, for example, you take many of these like banks, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, they don't have much more market in India, Target, all of these. But there are the others like Microsoft and all who have markets in India and who are doing business here as well. So when it comes to the kind of use cases that India can offer, okay, and the kind of talent, that is the kind of loads, performance loads and all that with which we operate here, and the talent pool available. So even if they wanted, they would not get that kind of a talent pool everywhere. It's such diverse and vast talent pool. So these are some of the key areas. Apart from the cost and time zone difference, follow the sun, all those factors, there is something called a sinking ladder syndrome, sinking ladder. So in which it says that, supposing there is one rung of the ladder, that means people have mastered processes at one level completely. And there are teams that are working at. They are best suited to take on the next rung, which is the next level, incremental changes which are there. And so on the next level, and the next level, till the entire ladder is owned by them. So which means the whole thing is going to come to us. Now, one question may arise that what will happen if these paradigm shifts like AI and automation happen? Then again, these are the best people suited. If we again play our cards right and develop talent in those areas, even that we can master and we can conquer and really own those pieces which are there. So the other good thing about the GCC is the talent that comes out after a point in time. We find that when they come out and form their own startups and all, then we find that this talent is moving around here in the ecosystem only and helping grow the ecosystem. So that's one beautiful thing here, that they're not gone anywhere else. Okay, right. That I'll stop. Thanks.
Wonderful. So, yes, of course, the ecosystem itself, I think JLL has been rating Telangana amongst the top cities, etc. Right from 1990s, the cost of living over here has been very different than the metros. And the iteration percentages also over here are much lower than other cities. And the best part was, since we have been on most of the investment tables also, because every government can give you incentive, every government can give you land, etc. But talent is the most important thing that you require for running your organization. So we used to always joke that if any investor is coming to Hyderabad, let them catch the late evening flight from Bangalore, let them arrive over here at night and we'll meet them the next morning. Needless to say, then it would have been always in our favor only, having witnessed the Bangalore traffic and then come to Hyderabad. So that is there. But I think, jokes apart, today with the kind of modern technologies, emerging technologies, the policies that the government has, IT policy, the second IT policy has come. We have a robotics policy, we have a cybersecurity policy, we have an additive manufacturing policy. There are so many things, and our policy are not 500-page documents. They are 20 pages implementable norms and things. And that's where Telangana government, compared to other governments, is much more proactive in ensuring that more and more investments come to Telangana. And it estimated that over the next 5 to 7 years, at least 30 to 40% of the GCCs who are planning to come to India would definitely evaluate Telangana as one of the main cities where they would like to bring in their investments. So on that note, I want to do a quick fire round kind of a thing with my entire panel itself, where I want them to look into the crystal ball, do some crystal ball gazing, and talk about two things. One is, what is the industry, business, technology that could be part of this future GCC coming over here, right? And the second would be more in terms of understanding what should be the shift in focus of industry, of academia, of the government, or of technology, which plays a key part. So let me start with you, Amjad. We'll go.
Okay, so good question. And my insights coming from mobility. So there's a lot of focus on personalization, connectivity, electrification, safety, sustainability, and also making it more exciting. What will really happen, or is already happening, we are using AI 100%, either in R&D or manufacturing, we are touching that AI. So it means we can't go back anymore. So the other important thing in manufacturing is remanufacturing. So this will have its own boom, because with that you can really save a lot of money, at least 50%, reuse 75% of the components, which also contributes to less carbon footprint, at least 75%. So what is that looking forward? I think we can also work on a lot of India-specific solutions. with architectures which are scalable, which are viable, and yeah, basically usable, right? And all on top of that, India being a vast country, so I see apart from the major cities, probably the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, because I have been in Germany. So when you are moving towards a developing country or developed country, so this is not only the urban centers, but also the tier 2, tier 3 are very important. So probably that's also the way to go. And ending the note on Gen AI, it's multisensoric. So when I say multisensoric, now it can see, it can hear, it can code, it can decide, and it can act. So adopting AI, I think, would be the underlying statement.
Sure, absolutely. Now, visualization 130 times of a human nature AI can do. Hearing also is 130 times. Recognition of writing, etc. is 130 times. Vinayji, over to you.
So if you look at where the IT demand is coming from, so I would say there are two sources, two purposes which technology is trying to serve. One is how we improve the efficiency. So any business looks at how we can do more efficiently. That's where a lot of IT solutions come in. And second thing is create or enhance experiences. So if you look at what at large, I think the basic needs are over. So I think ever since this iPhone came, this new trend started of really having superior experience. So efficiency and experience, these are the two drivers of the IT demand. Today's theme also is AI. So AI definitely is going to impact everything. In fact, very interestingly, one person challenged me saying that, tell me one area where Gen AI cannot be applied. And it is, I realized that there is nothing where at least Gen AI cannot be applied. Right? So other forms of AI may have, but Gen AI is applicable everywhere. So AI certainly is going to transform the life. So if you talk about the going forward, I would say the AI may be the major the change driver. And I would say that Telangana is well prepared from the government perspective, from infrastructure perspective. Look at the world-class facility we have in this whole knowledge city, Kokapet, financial district. So with the talent, ready talent, infrastructure, government support, so next 5 to 7 years, I would see very bright future for the entire ecosystem, all of us, whether it is academia, industry, or facilities management, or government.
Fantastic. Dr. Sriram.
Thank you. Could you just mind repeating the questions once again?
Yeah, sure. Two things. One is shift in key focus area. And second is what industry or business or technology would be driving the next 5 to 7 years of the growth story here in Telangana. Assuming that 35 to 40% of the companies looking to come to India are going to set up their GCCs in Telangana or Hyderabad. These are statistics, by the way, published statistics.
Sure, sure. So the first thing is, what is going to be the major thing? I think a more integrated, holistic approach, because it's going dangerously fragmented. Okay, so you would have the frameworks, industry frameworks. Many things will be standards driven. Take, for example, IoT, security. I'm not even talking about main IoT. IoT security itself, in the past 3 years, 6 standards have been released in the world. Okay, so we have to struggle to navigate the standards themselves. So one of the things is standards, regulations on one side, business and technology. All of these things, and innovation, of course, all of these things put together, we'll have to run in a holistic manner. And of course, the other things like sustainable development goals and all of those things. So that is an integrated approach will be favored, okay, rather than a fragmented approach and all. It takes into account several things. Now, as far as India is concerned, a couple of things that universal access will gain more and more importance. Internet, that means internet for multiple languages and all. And we will have to develop our own solutions. For example, Gen AI. Gen AI works well right now, LLMs for English language. Now, Indian languages are very different. For example, if you take all Indian languages like Sanskrit and all these, there is a effect on the other words also. In English, there is no, the other words don't morph because of these words. For example, say Rama kills Ravana, it's there. In Sanskrit, it would be Ravanam vadati. You would have, it will change. So you cannot do tokenization in the same way that it was done in LLMs there. You will have to complete tokenization will totally change ground.
Sure.
Then what is going to happen in the, so these are some of the basic things, so we'll have to develop our own unique models. What is upcoming and all are many areas. I can take cyber, I can take several examples. Simulation, digital twins, like you mentioned, all of these things will gain importance. And in many cutting edge areas like zero trust architecture, all this will be taken, defense in depth, all this will be taken very, very seriously. And behavioral biometrics, many of these areas will know. So even in an ordinary one also, for example, you need not go to the lab to actually mix chemicals and see what the reaction is. You'll do it in digital twins and actually you'll do it in the servers or the labs like that. So every area is going to get transformed in that manner. And this is where India can really gain and see that more and more GCCs come here because this infra and all the things are going to be. Cyber physical systems will certainly increase. That is another big area.
Correct.
As is cyber security and the other AI and ML areas also. Definitely.
Srikant.
So I think probably I'll take a wider lens from the standpoint of NASSCOM. I think if you look at it, I think you asked two parts to the question. One is where do you see it happening now, and what do you think is going to happen in the future? Where do you see it happening now? I think definitely today the kind of quality of work that's coming into India, the kind of quality of work that GCCs are doing in India is very different from what it was possibly 20 years ago. Because again, to go back to your first question on saying, why did they come and what are the purpose of coming then and what are the purpose of coming today, right? At that time, it was cost arbitrage, so obviously it was low-hanging, low-end kind of work, but today it is not so. It is definitely high-quality work. It is the kind of, and today the newer GCCs who are setting up shop in the country are not going through that whole cycle. They are not trying to do low-quality work and slowly growing up and then doing high-quality work. They're directly jumping into the fast lane, doing domain-specific work. Now, what does that mean? That means that the emphasis on skill is extremely high. And if you look at the data point of the last 5 years, the period of 2019 to 2024, the amount of penetration that we've got in digital skills in the GCC world has phenomenally gone up. And typically the top 4 skills, which is AI, ML, cloud, cybersecurity, and blockchain. In all the 4, there's been a significant uptake on the overall skill penetration in the GCC world. So obviously, this is something that's here to stay. Future, honestly, obviously, I don't think any of us can predict what's going to happen. I think 24 months ago, we didn't know that generative AI is going to go and hit us so hard like a tsunami. And obviously, there are many more tsunamis to come. But I would say that AI in all its form and shapes, generative or otherwise, RAG is the new one, and so many more to come. I think some of these will continue to transform. And more importantly than getting worried about the technology, I would say our agility and our ability to learn should be far higher, and then we can kind of, adapt to any environment. Thank you.
Sure. Amol. The second last word. Last is mine.
Yeah, so just to build upon what Srikant just said, right? So in my view, currently what we are seeing in GCCs is we are still catering to businesses that are operating outside of India, predominantly. Some of them do cater to what's happening. But with the whole story evolving with respect to a lot of manufacturing shifting to India, a lot of consumption that is happening in India, I foresee that, we'll start seeing the next level of evolution where some of the business drivers are also attributed to what's happening locally in India, right? So I think that's one thing, and you can all, and the extension of that is that, is the GCC only centered on technology or it's evolving to something beyond? And pharma is a classic example. Most of the R&D centers are here, but they also have manufacturing setups here which collaborate a lot between that. So that's one. And the second is, what do we see 5-7 years down the line? So again, related thing, I think AI and all, we all know there are new technology spectrums coming through. But India as a country, as a population is going to be one of the largest consumer bases worldwide. So the amount of data that is going to get generated here, and also the patterns with respect to consumption patterns are going to determine what global businesses are going to be focusing on. So how do we capture that and how do we build into the R&D and other stuff? I think that's going to be an interesting area to watch out. And Beyond that, a lot of new startups coming in. So are you integrating those services and solutions that are available locally in India rather than, you just being in back office of someone who's taking decision outside? I think those are the things that I see definitely coming into play as we move forward.
Very interesting point of view. And in fact, a lot of data that gets generated over here, our emerging technologies division, etc., work on that and are looking at creating predictive models for the globe itself. So you're absolutely right. I think, the journey has started over there. Due to the lack of time, I don't think we'll be able to take any questions, but all of us are available over here post this session. Happy to interact with any one of you and take questions. Probably what I'd like to only say is Telangana is not growing, it's transforming. And in this transformation, we are absolutely committed to ensure that we have the right infrastructure, the right skills, the right policies to ensure that any organization, whether it's a global capability center or what it is moving to now, global value center, because Indian GCCs are adding a lot of value to the global counterparts also. We are definitely there to help, support, and grow. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Our panel deserves a very loud round of applause for the brilliant session. And thank you, Satya and the TFMC team, for giving me this opportunity to orchestrate such an august panel today over here. Thank you very much.